2611 mastermind Tahawwur Hussain Rana will be arriving in India by noon. Let's get you the latest. Mumbai 2611 terror attack accused Tahawwur Hussain Rana is expected to arrive in India on a special flight by afternoon at Palam Airport. Rana is likely to be produced before a special NIA court at Patiala House in Delhi. According to government sources in India, a multi-agency team from India has gone to the US to bring him back, and all paperwork and legalities have been completed with the US authorities. The hugely significant development comes just days after Rana's last resort attempt to evade extradition to India failed after the US Supreme Court denied his application, moving him closer to being handed over to the Indian authorities to face justice in the dastardly 2611 attacks. Tahawwur Hussain Rana is a Pakistan-born Canadian national and close associate of one of the main conspirators of the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, David Headley, a US citizen. The central government has appointed Special Public Prosecutor Narendra Maan for trial in 2611 case. Meanwhile, sources have revealed that the trial court records related to the 2611 Mumbai terror attacks, which were called from Mumbai to Delhi at the end of January, have recently been received by the Patiala House Court. The trial court records related to the 2611 Mumbai terror attacks are likely to be a part of the evidence in the NIA case, which names Tahawwur Hussain Rana and David Headley as accused. In January, Delhi's Patiala House Court recalled its trial court records related to the Mumbai attacks following an application filed by the NIA requesting their retrieval from Mumbai. Well, in fact, this is the latest that we are bringing for all our viewers. And right on your screens, this is the vehicle in which the 2611 terrorist will be transported from Palam Airport to the NIA headquarters. This is a bulletproof vehicle. And according to sources, along with the bulletproof vehicle, there are marksman vehicle right there. In fact, has also been kept on standby. Commandos from Delhi Police's special cell are also stationed on standby with this vehicle. The marksman vehicle, viewers, is an extremely secure vehicle designed to withstand any form of attack. It is used by the special cell to transport high-profile terrorists and gangsters to court and agency offices. Let's quickly go across to my colleague Deepak Badana, who joins me live from Palam Airport on more on this. Deepak, a very good morning to you. Do tell us, what's the current situation at the Palam Airport? Has security been heightened ahead of Tahawwur Hussain Rana's arrival?
Good morning, Neha. Right now, I'm outside the Air Force Station Palam, also known as the Palam Technical Airport. Now, this is the very venue where the government of India lands some of its most important VVIPs, as well as some notorious figures, as in this case being Tahawwur Rana. Now, earlier today when we arrived here, there was a lot of quiet around this region. In fact, most of the security was around these 3 to 4 places where Rana will be taken post his arrival. That includes the Patiala House Court, the NIA office and the Tihar jail. In all these 3 places, we've seen heightened security. We've seen a number of commandos from the special cell, as well as people from the varied security agencies who've all pitched in to ensure a smooth process. Here, however, early this morning, there was a lot of quiet. But it's natural considering that this is a highly secure area. The only aircraft that are landing at the Air Force Station Palam are the IAF aircraft and VVIP aircrafts. This is in fact a no-fly zone. Any aircraft that is in fact going or anything that is up in the air is something that has already been approved by the government of India and by the DGCA at the IGI. So presently what we are seeing is that the vehicle that will ferry Tahawwur Rana from the airport has arrived here. There are a couple of police vans which have arrived. Some police officers have conducted a minor sweeping exercise around the area, and we expect more security and more such procedures to entail as and when the time of Rana's arrival comes closer. Over to you.
Continue to stay with us, Deepak. Let me also now quickly go across to my colleague Aditya Rajkol. He also joins me live with the details on the same. Aditya, a very good morning to you. Do tell us firstly, how big is Tahawwur Hussain Rana's extradition for India, especially, from a diplomatic and strategic standpoint?
Well, Tahawwur Rana's extradition is a very significant and important critical milestone in the investigation of the Mumbai 26/11 attacks. I would say that ever since the Ajmal Kasab's, arrest and thereafter death sentence, this is the biggest, milestone in this entire investigation. So, as of now, Tahawwur Rana is on his way to Delhi. We are being told in the next couple of hours, anytime he could be landing at the Palam Technical Airport, where Deepak is keeping us abreast with the latest. Heightened security is in place, of course, at the Patiala House, where at the NIA Special Court he will be produced and he will be kept for custodial interrogation at the NIA headquarters in Lodi Road. So heavy security, including SWAT commandos of the Delhi Police and the paramilitary forces, are in place already. I have covered in the last 10 to 15 years two such incidents where Christian Michel was brought in from UAE and Chota Rajan was brought in from Indonesia, and similar exercise was in place. Similar SOPs were in place. There were dummy vehicles also kept on standby, including dummy bulletproof vehicles. So you exactly do not know in which vehicle he could be traveling, in which convoy he would be actually traveling. So as of now, it's a critical and important development. Tahawwur Rana is not merely a small agent in this entire exercise of Mumbai 26/11 attacks. He was critical to the entire operation. He had himself, done recce in many of these areas. He had, of course, helped David Headley get forged documents to enter India and extend his visa to over 10 years. Such was the radicalization of Tahawwur Rana that he actually suggested that all the terrorists of the Mumbai 26/11 attacks who were killed should be honored with the highest civilian and military honors of the Pakistan government. Now, Tahawwur Rana is not merely, as I said, a small figure in this entire exercise of conspiracy, but he is an insider. He is somebody who was part of the Pakistan army and was recruited by the Pakistan ISI. He, of course, went to Canada for better means and thereafter to Chicago to establish his firm. But it could be that all this while he was working for the Pakistan ISI and the Pakistan army to create a good cover. Of course, Tahawwur Rana would also expose many more key figures who were responsible for the Mumbai 26/11 attacks. That include Sajid Mir as well as Major Iqbal, who were instructing the terrorists to actually kill and create mayhem at Hotel Taj and other locations during the Mumbai 26/11 attacks. So Tahawwur Rana is. That's why he is very critical to the investigation, because during the interrogation he could reveal the modus operandi of the Pakistan Army and the ISI, and the link that the Pakistan Army and the ISI have with terror groups like Lashkar-e-Toiba, Hafiz Saeed, Zakirur Rahman Lakwi, and how Sajid Mir and Major Iqbal, played a very critical role in this entire operation, and as not just recruiters and somebody, doing a recce in this area, but also supervising the entire operation from the day first when this was planned. So, of course, for the Indian investigative agencies, the NIA, and of course the intelligence agency RNAW, it's a very historic milestone in the 26/11 investigations. This also highlights the India-US cooperation and strategic partnership in many ways, because Trump himself had announced during Prime Minister Modi's visit about Tahawwur Rana's extradition, and we are awaiting that moment when Tahawwur Rana actually lands here and meets justice.
Right. Continue to stay with us, Aditya. Deepak, in fact, we also have a retired NSG commando's reaction. Let's quickly take a listen.
आज बड़ा देश के लिए बहुत बड़ा खुशी की बात है जो आतंकवाद के ऊपर जो लगाम लगाई जा रही है। देश के प्रधानमंत्री और अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति और तमाम मीडिया का मैं धन्यवाद करता हूं, जिन्होंने इतना दबाव बना के रखा, और जितनी हमारी एजेंसी हैं, NIA है और हैं, वो लगातार जो ढीली नहीं पड़ी, क्योंकि जब से जो ना इतना बड़ा हमला दुनिया में कहीं नहीं हुआ, इतने हमारे देश के और विदेशों के भी निर्दोष लोगों को उस हमले के अंदर मारा, और जिस बर्बरता के साथ मारा उसकी मैं दास्तान चैनल पर नहीं कर सकता हूँ। तो मुझे तो खुद जो है ना आज वही मंजर सामने नज़र आ रहा, रोंगटे खड़े हैं हो रखे हैं, और बहुत खुशी है एक ऐसे बड़े जो है ना आतंकवादी को मैं कहूँगा यहाँ लाया जा रहा है, और उसको जो है ना आज जब सज़ा मिलेगी, जब उसको फांसी लटकाया जाएगा, तो तब जो है ना देश के अंदर एक खुशी की लहर होगी, और ये आतंकवाद ही नहीं, पाकिस्तान के मुंह के ऊपर भी तमाचा है।
Right, let me now go back to my colleague Deepak, who is with us from the Palam airport. Deepak, do we know exactly when the special flight carrying Tahawwur Rana is expected to land? Any details on it?
Unfortunately, Neha, we don't, and that's also part of the security arrangements. If I might, put up that. For instance, we do know that the plane will arrive anytime post noon, that is 12 p.m. But the key indicator of that will be the arrival of a lot of security personnel, and heightened activity outside and inside Air Force Station Palam. So that will be one of the clues. However, as of now, we don't have anything definite. What we do know is that post noon, Rana will land at Air Force Station Palam. Furthermore, I would like to point out that it is a rather long journey from the US to India, and the plane would have stopped for refueling midway. So a longer journey would have been lengthened anyway. Right now, everybody is waiting with bated breath. We have a growing crowd of curious onlookers and media personnel outside Air Force Station Palam, and we've got more and more police, personnel arriving. So we'll be giving you the latest updates, keeping you abreast of the news here as and when it arrives.
Right, all right, Deepak, continue to stay with us. In fact, let me quickly go back to my colleague Aditya, who also is with us and giving us details on the same. Aditya, now that Tahawwur Rana is being brought to India, Pakistan's direct complicity in 2611 will further, will be further exposed. There's no doubt in that. But the question remains, for how long will Pakistan really, continue to shield anti-India elements on its soil, such as Hafiz Saeed?
Well, Pakistan's entire modus operandi and foreign policy is based on terrorism, and that's amply clear to the entire global community as well. Pakistan has been isolated over the years, especially after the dastardly Pulwama terror attack in 2019. And India also changed its policy by bringing down the entire diplomatic relations with Pakistan, not actually bothering about Pakistan at all, because we have better things to do here diplomatically or otherwise. So Pakistan over the years has also imploded in many ways. You could see the kind of terrorists who have got safe shelter. They've nurtured terrorists. They've had snakes in their backyard that are working at the behest of the Pakistan Army and the ISI, and that certainly hasn't changed. Even though Pakistan themselves are now suffering terrorism in many ways, many of the groups that they nurtured are now going all guns blazing against the Pakistan Army, like the TTP. But having said that, this is, of course, a big moment because Mumbai 2611 attacks in many ways was compared with 9/11. There was not only Indian, but a lot of foreigners that were killed as well, including American and Israeli nationals. It had, in many ways, also shaken the conscience of the country. And till now, one of the only biggest catches has been Ajmal Kasab, who has met his fate by a death sentence as per the law of the land. And now a crucial link, Tahawwur Rana coming back, is a critical milestone because he will unravel the entire, conspiracy behind 2611. He will give details of how David Coleman Headley, Sajid Mir, Major Iqbal came together to launch this operation. What was the kind of support from Lashkar-e-Toiba's Hafiz Saeed and Zakirur Rahman Lakwi, who all were, in fact, from the Pakistan Army and the ISI involved in this entire operation. He could actually reveal the real identities of Major Iqbal from the ISI and, of course, Sajid Mir as well. So, this is someone that we are talking about who is highly, highly radicalized and an insider of the Pakistan ISI. And that's why this is a big embarrassment coming in for the Pakistan government, because at a time when they would have thought that there would be some kind of a global support for them and they would try to highlight their so-called fight against terror, here is another mole of the Pakistan Army and the ISI in India's hands. And it's a big achievement for the NIA and RNAW, and of course the Mumbai police as well, who were at the top of the investigation of the Mumbai 2611 attacks. I can tell you, in fact, those who don't know, that the current chief of
Right.
the NIA, Sutherland Date, was in fact one of the additional commissioners of Mumbai police at the time of the Mumbai 2611 attacks, who was injured by a grenade thrown by Ajmal Kasab. Also, the case investigating officer of the Mumbai 2611 attacks from the NIA is currently a senior officer of the RNAW on the Pakistan desk. So clearly, these senior officers have long memories. They have done their job pretty well. The investigations and the charge sheet are tightly placed, and time is now for a very speedy trial in the Tahawwur Rana case so that
Right.
justice is finally done for the victims of 2611 and Pakistan, of course, gets a strong response.
Right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Aditya, for joining me with all of those important insights.